Hello, top of the morning, and welcome to another brand new day, a brand new edition of the program, The Press, your weekly dose of weather updates and, of course, top headlines making the waves both locally and globally. Welcome to another edition of the program. I am Princess Ekeze Okoli, and of course this program features in-depth analysis and of course interviews by guests and you. So with that said, we're going to delve into, as usual, we'll start out with a weather update to tell you what the weather is going to be like today. Well, yesterday in the city of Abuja was quite rainy, and I think it got a lot of people indoors. I thought we were going to have a twin weather today, but so far the rain hasn't started. I don't know about your side of Abuja though, but it's quite a very I think it's actually my kind of weather. Yes, there's no sun, the weather is cool and breezy, so I totally love this weather. So let's look at some of the weather updates around some parts of the country. We're going to start with the city of Jos, that is boosted of 19 degrees Celsius. It's mostly cloudy with a high of 25 and a low of 18. It means that Jos is quite cold today. Definitely. Rainy conditions are also expected around 1500 hours, and wind gusts are up to 11 kilometers per hour. That's in the city of Jos. Let's look at Kano. Kano is boasting of 23 degrees Celsius. It's mostly cloudy with a high of 32 degrees and a low of 22 degrees Celsius. It's partly cloudy conditions. Partly cloudy conditions are actually expected around 8 today. I guess that is already on, with wind gusts up to 14 kilometers per hour. That's in Kano. And in Kaduna, that is not so far away, 22 degrees Celsius is what is boosting. It's partly cloudy with a high of 29 degrees and a low of 21 degrees Celsius. Rainy conditions are expected around 1600 hours, with wind gusts up to 16 kilometers per hour. That's in the city of Kaduna. Let's go to the southeastern part of the country. Let's begin with Imo. Imo is boasting of 23 degrees Celsius, which is mostly cloudy with a high of 28 degrees Celsius and a low of 22 degrees Celsius. Rainy conditions are, however, expected around 9 to 11 this morning, with thunderstorms expected at 1500 hours. All right, that's 3 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's also look at Enugu, which is still in the southeastern part. 23 degrees Celsius is what Enugu is boasting of. It's mostly cloudy with a high of 29 degrees Celsius and a low of 22 degrees Celsius. Rainy conditions are also expected around 1400 hours, with wind gusts up to 10 kilometers per hour. All right, a place not so far from the south, which is the south. We have Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is boasting of 24 degrees Celsius. It's mostly cloudy with a high of 28 degrees Celsius and a low of 23 degrees Celsius. Rainy conditions are also expected around 9 a.m. today, with wind gusts up to 10 kilometers per hour. So if you look, it seems that it's all rain everywhere. All right, in Benin is 23 degrees Celsius. It's also mostly cloudy with a high of 28 degrees and a low of 23 degrees Celsius. Rainy conditions are also expected around 8 this morning. It's possible it's already raining, with wind gusts up to 6 kilometers per hour. The city of Lagos. Lagos is boasting 25 degrees Celsius, which is mostly cloudy as well, with a high of 29 degrees and a low of 25 degrees Celsius. Rainy conditions are expected around 1600 hours. Wind gusts are up to 16 kilometers per hour. All right, so that's the city of Lagos. All right, and before we end the weather updates, let's come back to Abuja. Here in Abuja, we have 22 degrees Celsius, cloudy conditions with a high of 28 degrees Celsius and a low of 21 degrees Celsius. Now, partly cloudy conditions are expected around 11 this morning, with wind gusts up to 9 kilometers per per hour. That's in the city of Abuja. So basically, wherever you go today, make sure you do not go out without an umbrella. Yes, make sure you go out with an umbrella or a rain jacket to protect yourself just in case the rain meets you. Okay, with that, we end the weather update, and without further ado, we just quickly move into the top headlines making the waves this morning. We're going to start with the Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Trust newspaper. Let's see what it has for us. All right, so I'm going to take the biggest one that says, ahead of ADC's meeting today, Atiku woos PDP leaders to coalition. All right, it says ahead of PDP meeting today, there'll be a meeting today. Atiku woos PDP leaders to coalition. Let me read a few. Let me read the first paragraph. It says, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has called on leaders and members of the People's Democratic Party to join a broader opposition coalition to rescue Nigeria from the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in 2027. All right, so yes, that will be happening later today, and you're going to see a picture on the Daily Trust. The picture is a picture of the remains of late Alhaji Aminu Dantata being taken to the cemetery for burial in after prayers at the Prophet Mosque in Medina, Saudi Arabia. This was yesterday. All right, yes, we heard of his unfortunate death last week. All right, so we also have another one. INEC proposes fresh guidelines for review of election results. INEC proposes fresh guidelines for review of election results. Dantata buried in Saudi Arabia. You find that story on page 18. We have Dan Bokolo, the rise and fall of bandit warlord. A very cheering story, we must say. Lagos traditional ruler dethrones 6 chiefs for impersonating him at Labour Party campaign. Okay, interesting. Military kills 10 terrorists at Nigeria-Cameroon border. That's still on Daily Trust. If you want to read further, you find the story on page 10. How can we transform livestock sector into modern business? Minister. You'll also find that on page 28 of Daily Trust. All right, that's that on the Daily Trust newspaper. Let's move over to the Daily Monitor. The Daily Monitor newspaper. Scholarship for Caribbean students to study in Nigeria begins next academic year. Tinubu, that's the top story you're going to see on the Daily Monitor newspaper. Scholarship for Caribbean students to study in Nigeria begins next academic year. Tinubu. All right. Other stories here says INEC to provide supplementary regulations for election declaration review. Yakubu, you find the story on page 15. NNPCL records 100% availability on major crude oil pipelines. NNPCL records 100% availability on major crude oil pipelines. The story is on page 4 of the Daily Monitor. Reps investigate Nigeria's £1.2 million debt to euros, to OACPS. Reps investigate Nigeria's €1.2 million debt to OACPS. That story, you'll find it on page 5. Defense headquarters confirms killing of terrorist kingpin Yellow Dan Bokolo. Yes, I took that on the previous newspaper. Yes, it's been announced that the terrorist kingpin has been disseminated. That I think this happened yesterday or 2 days ago. APC-led federal government undermining democracy in Nigeria. PDP leaders. APC-led federal government undermining democracy in Nigeria. PDP leaders. And the writer says, describe ruling party government's performance as a failure. Urge Nigerians to help unseat APC. We're going to be seeing a lot of the stories in almost all the newspapers this morning. Nigeria's oil production stands at 1.745 million per barrel million barrels per day to hit 2 million 2025 ending, Lopobri, the Minister of Oil. All right, I think that's on the Daily Monitor. Let's move over to another newspaper, The Guardian. The Guardian newspaper. All right, the biggest story you're going to see on The Guardian says 2027 Northern Northern PDP leaders settle on ADC as preferred coalition platform. 2027 Northern PDP leaders settle on ADC as preferred coalition platform. You find the story on page 6. You're going to see pictures of some of the big wigs there. We have Atiku, we have Mark, we have I can see oh my god, I can't remember his name. Okay, I don't know what happened, but you can see the pictures, about 6 of them, big wigs there. Those are the Northern PDP leaders saying that they're settling for ADC as their preferred coalition platform. Let's see how this goes. RFI and some other persons there. We have another story here says Obi flares as St. Lucia's highest honor. Okay, it says Obi flays St. Lucia's highest honor, Knight Commander title on Tinubu. You find that story on page 4. Yes, St. Lucia, it was, and the highest honor was given to the president by St. Lucia's. I think that was also what culminated into the scholarship for Caribbean students to study in Nigeria, beginning in the next academic session. Reps ticket may cost 500 million naira post-election litigation. 1 billion naira. Reps ticket may cost 500 million naira post-election litigation. 1 billion naira. Ondo government's quest to probe Akeredolu's death sparks controversy. Ondo government's quest to probe Akeredolu's death sparks controversy. Rivers, Lagos worst hit as coal clashes claim 1,686 lives in 5 years. Omokri places 3 million bounty on ex-users, threatens obese wife, children. Operator demand tariff increase to save off 6 trillion naira gas debt. All right, those are the stories you're going to find on the Guardian newspaper this morning, which is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. All right, let's move over to Leadership newspaper. Leadership have quite a lot of headlines here. Leadership newspaper. I'm going to start with the first story there that said St. Lucia bestows highest national honor on Tinubu. You find that on page 10 of the Leadership newspaper. Buhari left office broke but with integrity intact. Okay, Buhari left office broke with integrity intact. That's Garbasheru there. Trump-Musk feud escalates as U.S. president threatens to cut subsidies. Trump-Musk feud escalates as U.S. president threatens to cut subsidies. You find that story on page 9. That's outside Nigeria. In 10 months, 349 died in Niger disaster. SEMA. In 10 months, 349 died in Niger disaster. Economic reforms drag business activities to 7-month low. Economic reforms drag business activities to 7-month low. We also have another story here that says federal government unveils $40 million ICT revolution in 10 varsities. Federal government unveils $40 million in ICT revolution in 10 varsities. No land allocated to Wike's children, FCTA insists. No land allocated to Wike's children, FCTA insists. The pictures are going to see there is also that of Dantata being laid to rest. Dantata laid to rest in Medina. Dangote, others bid farewell. Senate postpones Northwest Constitution Review hearing to honor him. And the biggest headline here says, Coalition APC on phase as Atiku Lamido court PDP leaders. All right, like I told you, this story is, we're seeing the story on almost all the papers this morning. All right, so let's see. NNPC Limited revenue hits 6 trillion naira, profit surges to 1.5 trillion naira in May. NNPC Limited revenue hits 6 trillion naira, profit surges to 1.05 trillion naira in May. Alright, so I'm going to give you some detail on that. It says the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has reported a profit after tax of 1.05 trillion naira for May 2025, and in its new report titled NNPC Limited Monthly Report Summary May 2025, the national oil firm said the figure increased by 29.0% from 748 billion in April. Okay, that's a good one. All right, away from that, we will ensure governance doesn't discriminate. Tinubu vows. Will ensure governance doesn't discriminate. Tinubu vows. Dignity of our citizens is not defined by their geography. You find our story on page 3 of the Metrics. St. Lucia bestows highest national honor on Tinubu for promoting Africa-Caribbean unity. 2027 coalition intensifies plot to unseat Tinubu. Page 2 is where you find that story. And the writer says PDP Labour Party threatened as Atiku others woo Nigerians to join coalition. Opposition can't afford to split votes again. LP chieftain warns. PDP governors being forced into APC. Olobodiyan says controversy, local government law delay. LSHA summons AG and SG. You find that story on page 2 of the Metrics as well. Alhaji Aminu Dentata buried in Medina, Saudi Arabia. That story is also on page 2 of the Metrics. All right, yeah, you could see the picture of the president being bestowed the honor. Yes, you can see him there. The global recognition, St. Lucia conferred its highest national honor, Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia, on President Bola Tinubu at an event yesterday. This happened yesterday. Yeah, so you can see the president there receiving the honor and the plaque. Okay, another story you find on the Metric says Tubaba sparks debate, says men not wired for sexual monogamy. Okay, that's some debate. All right. Trump hints at deporting Elon Musk over criticism of spending bill. Okay, this is getting interesting, isn't it? CWC, Real Madrid, Dortmund progressed to quarterfinals, beat UV Monterrey. You find that story on page 22 if you're a sport lover. All right, let's move away from the Metrics and now to the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. Around the Daily Independent newspaper, it says Atiku, Mark, Secondus, PDP bigwigs ask members, Nigerians to join coalition. And the writer says, APC government is now a disaster, must be voted out. Indices of development have collapsed, life now hell in Nigeria. Coalition not threat to APC, says Dallery, ruling party's acting chair. You find this story on page 29 of the Daily Independent. Infrastructure is most persuasive advertisement of leadership. Tinubu. Infrastructure is most persuasive advertisement of leadership. Tinubu. That page is also on page 29. AKK gas pipeline. NNPC announces successful crossing of River Niger. French government doles out 38 million euros for ICT infrastructure in 10 Nigerian universities. Tinubu names former National Governor Al-Makura board chairman of UBEC. Dangote's initiative will stimulate economic growth, energy expert says. And then we also have INEC set to release new guidelines on reviewing declared results. INEC set to release new guidelines on reviewing declared results. Okay, that's on the Daily Independent. So if you want to read further, just pick up the paper and you read more on the headlines I just read out to you now. All right, so moving on, we still have the Liberty newspaper, Voice of Liberty. Let's move over to that newspaper. And some of the headlines you see says, Dangote slashes ex-depot price, petrol price to 840 naira per litre. 7 bandit leaders, 182 others killed in Zamfara clash. Rivers, Reps query 24 billion naira CCTV budget proposal for government house. That's quite a huge sum for CCTV. All right. INEC unveils 2025-2026 election timetable, resumes voter registration. All right, let me give you some hint on that. It says the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has unveiled a comprehensive electoral timetable for 2025 and 2026, including 5 major elections and the resumption of nationwide continuous voter registration. 1,686 killed in court clashes. Proposed coalition party ADA will fail against APC in 2027, Primate Ayodele says. Peter Obi's single-term proposal, unbelievable, IPAC. 2027, Atiku, Mac, Obi, others pick ADC to challenge Tinubu with coalition alliance. All right, those are the stories you're going to find on the Voice of Liberty this morning, the 2nd day of July. All right, let's move over to Business Day. Business Day newspaper. Few tools, empty shelves. Inside story of Nigeria's health centers. Few tools, empty shelves. Inside story of Nigeria's health centers. All right, if I'm going to give you a few hints on that, it says for Faustina Onyenwe, it says 2025 nearly ended in tragedy. Her 3-year-old daughter had been vomiting uncontrollably, and in desperation, she rushed her to the nearest primary health center in Buari here in Abuja. And by the time they arrived, the child has been weak and barely responsive. The only nurse on duty assessed the child but delayed treatment for nearly 20 minutes. All right, these are the stories you hear when it comes to our health facility in the country. All right, I'm going to stop there. Another story you find here says Atiku leads PDP splinter group into coalition. All right. Okay, I think those are the stories here, majorly here on the Business Day. Other ones are, you could see some analysis, business analysis here. All right, let's move away from the Business Day newspaper and look at the Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune, the first headline here says controversy trails on the government's plan inquires into Akeredolu's death. You'll find that on page 15. Atiku, David Mark, Tambuwal, Lamido, others want PDP collapse into coalition, says party now a shadow of itself. All right, let's move away from that and go to the Vanguard newspaper. Oil production, federal government to withdraw license of firms with dominant oil fields. Page 19 has details of that story. Worsening abduction, killings, Boko Haram's renewed attacks, others alarming, so 10. Worsening abductions, killings, Boko Haram's renewed attacks, others alarming. All right, let's move away from the Vanguard because those are the only headlines there. Let's go to This Day. This Day, opposition coalition formally adopts ADC unveils party interim ESCO today. And the writer says, Mark is pro-tem national chair, Arebashola, Secretary Bolaji ABDULAZEEZ spokesperson. Prominent PDP leaders urge members to join movement, said party. APC have failed Nigeria. Declare nation a diminished country. Embarrassment on world stage. All right. Still on the fight on the coalition there. 2 Kano emirs join Tajuddin Dangote Sayu federal government team in Medina to bury Aminu Dantata. Alright, those are the stories you find on this day newspaper. And now let's go to the Punch. The Punch newspaper. Marketers snap Dangote's price cut, retain high fuel cost. I wonder why that is though. Marketers snap Dangote's price cut, retain high fuel cost. 2027 crossfire. APC strikes back after Mark Lamido slammed Tinubu government. And the writer there says opposition alliance gains steam as a Tiku coalition. Ex-PDP governors, veterans join Mark bloc. Okay, interesting. All right, let me move away from the Punch because those are the only stories there. And we're coming almost to the finishing line because we're going quickly on a break, and then I'll bring my guests to join me in the studio. But before then, let's look at some entertainment stories. The Metric Showbiz Gist. The Metric Showbiz Gist. We have Toba Sparks today. Says men are not wired for sexual monogamy. I'm sure a lot of men will agree to this. Ezine Akudo denies ever marrying footballer Emmanuel Emenike. We have Efia Odo denies deportation rumors, shares photo from New York. Televangelist Jimmy Swaggart dies at 19. A very sad story there. Yes, if you want more gist, please get yourself the Metric Showbiz Gist. And now to some sport lovers, let's go over and see what is there for you to know today. We have the Sport Transfer Center. We have Juventus shut down Osimhen rumors. We have Ten Hag wants to keep Boniface this summer. CSC accuses Mikel denies. Who is telling the truth? 17 years later. I think if you want to know more, you could just read further on that story. CSC accuses, Mikel denies. Who is telling the truth? 17 years later. Bribe claim backfires amid old BBC interview. Mikel's Chelsea starts undermine CSC's claim. Top 8 assist providers in Super Eagles history. Owojaiye Samuel, my father called without telling me. All right, and we'll also have Inter Miami confident Mercy will renew contract. All right, and the last story says, ARU hands 2-year ban to former world under-20 champion Nse Uko. Okay, more on the sport. We have the metrics. The metric sport says transfer. Aroko Dare will make big move. Jen Chief the Conde. Like I told you, we also took the story. CWC Real Madrid B Dortmund progressed to quarterfinals, beat Juve Monterrey. We also have another story here that says I poured him water, threw away his football. Bright Osayi's mother recounts. And finally, transfer. Liverpool eye Osimhen swap deal involving Darwin Nunez. All right, those are the headlines making the wave this morning, being the Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. And with that, we're going to quickly go on a short break while I bring my guests to join me in the studio for us to analyze another newspaper. And I'm sure you know where our major focus will be as we analyze some of them. Remember that also you get to be part of the conversation when the time is right. So do stay with us. We'll be back shortly. All right, so beautiful morning once again. If you're just joining, this is the press on Captain Television here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Welcome back. We went on a break after reviewing the headlines making the waves. And now we're back. Like I told you, my guest will be joining me, and he is now here with me this morning. So in the studio with me this morning is Comrade Daboy Kiabo Wamet. He is a PDP steward and the apex leader of the concerned PDP League. It's a beautiful and a pleasure to have you join this morning on the show.
Thank you for the privilege.
You're welcome. You look good. You look like a chief.
Thank you so much.
All right. So with him here, we're going to start out with some in-depth analysis of some of the big headlines I took with you this morning. And I'm sure you're guessing the biggest one. But before we go to the biggest one, let us start with it's almost preparation for next elections all over. We're seeing preparations by different politicians, and then let's talk about INEC itself, who are in charge of conducting the election nationwide. Now, INEC recently said something about them releasing new guidelines on reviewing declared results. And now, going by what happened in the last elections, where we were promised that elections will be given via what's the name again?
Electronic transmission.
Exactly. And then we had issues in some parts where it was not transmitted. Till today, we've not even been given as the reason why, what happened, why some of them. We also heard issues of how certain results that were transmitted wasn't what was recorded at certain polling units. Well, what do you think this new guideline that they're planning to release will be about?
Well, let me say thank you once again for the privilege. And you see, INEC reviewing the way election results will be transmitted is not the issue. The main issue is for there to be a backing, constitutional backing. The electorate had given it the powers to do that, because leaving it at the whims and caprices of the commission is what has led to the 2023 results, whatever glitch that we had, moreover, when the presidential election result. So the only thing INEC will do to incentivize Nigerians to come and vote and to reduce voter apathy is for them to send a bill to the National Assembly to enact a law for the transmission, electronic transmission of results, because Nigerians want their votes to count, and anything that will make their vote to count is the only thing that will incentivize them to come out under the rain or sun and will make our democracy strong. So whatever review that does not bring on board electronic transmission of results will not entice the people, the voters, because what you hear voters complain about always is my vote will not count, my vote will not count. But if they've seen steps taken towards ensuring that their votes will count, everybody want to engage, because it's their civil responsibility, it's their civil rights, but they don't want to do it because they feel their votes will not count. With the results glitch we experienced in 2023, a lot of people are, feel disappointed. So the only way INEC could do that is to ensure that there is electronic transmission of result in the 2022 electorate that is calling for another amendment, because anything can result to it will be at the whims and caprices, and they'll just decide, okay, we want to go manual, just like they did, which a lot of people do not appreciate and feels that we should go beyond that level when it comes to our electoral system. Key today that INEC will do is to ensure that we have electronic transmission of results.
Okay. All right, that's a good one. All right, another thing I would like us to talk about will be Dangote slashing prices of petrol price. He actually slashed it down to 840 naira per liter, but marketers are still not buying from him. And it means, what this means is that the petrol we're buying is higher than what Dangote is providing. And it means that at the end of the day, Nigerians are buying at a high price. So what do you think is the politics going on between Dangote and marketers?
That is a very big politics going on between Dangote and the marketers. All of them are businessmen, and they want to maximize profit. And for that reason, the marketers must have evaluated buying the product from Dangote and importing it, which one is cheaper for them to be able to make profit. And that is where most Nigerians are disappointed in the Dangote refinery, because when it was about coming on stream, most Nigerians were happy, believing that, excited, believing that with the Dangote refinery coming on board, petroleum product will be reduced. In fact, most Nigerians don't think we'll buy petroleum product, more of it, especially fuel, up to 500 naira. But today you can see the up and down. And if you want to get the marketers, so definitely you're a businessman. They are also business people. They look at the comparative advantage of buying from you and importing the way they used to do. So I think Dangote refinery management need to come back, sit down, and review their pricing, because the marketers, from what we heard, the landing cost and everything is cheaper than getting from Dangote. Wow. So some of them are going for, that's why they are still looking at importing the product. But if Dangote refinery management can review the price, I'm telling you, the marketers will get from Dangote, and that will help us reduce this fleet of our currency.
Exactly.
It will be within and boost the economy. But I think Nigerians, we are very much, myself included, we are very much disappointed in the Dangote refinery, and we want to urge him to sit with his management and try to see how they can review that price, because you are getting the crude oil, you are not importing it, you are getting it domestically. The president has made provision for that. So what is the issue that is leading to you increasing the price to that point that marketers will prefer to
buy from
importing from outside? That being that we have a refinery here does not give them that competitive advantage that you can get here. So there's something wrong somewhere, which need to be made open for Nigerians to understand why Dangote refinery cannot reduce its cost price to 400. So by the time marketers will put whatever it is, it will be around that 500 naira for Nigerians to be able to afford it, and marketers to be able to patronize him as against importing from other countries, because you don't pay landing cost and so on. So it is quite unfortunate, and we want to advise him and plead with him to sit with his management and review the pricing.
Okay. Although I've heard some rumors about him being frustrated not to run the business as a whole entirely, and the fact that sometimes crude oil are not being sold to him, or sometimes it's sold to him in dollars instead of naira. There was a time that debate was on.
Yes.
I remember there was a time the federal government said that Dangote should be allowed to buy in naira, in our local currency, instead of the dollars. So
I think that that should have incentivized him to be able to, when you said challenges, Dangote came and complained. We know he's an experienced businessman. That is his field. And that issue expects resistance, because there is cabal in the oil industry.
There is.
They will resist him that is coming to bring such a thing for Nigerians to have access to cheaper petroleum product. So he should have expected that and prepared himself as a businessman. Now he informed Nigeria, he complained, and Nigerians supported him. And at the end, the president, in his wisdom, said Dangote should get the product in Nigerian currency. And that is one thing that we should commend the president for, that Dangote, I hope, before commending the president, let me hope that it is being practicalized, not just on paper, that Dangote can buy crude oil in naira. Because if you are saying that we should increase the value of the naira, then we should encourage purchasing of whatever it is within the geographical location of Nigeria in naira.
Exactly.
So whatever, whether be crude or whatever, it should be in naira. And the federal government has taken that step. So Dangote should come up and tell us if it is just on paper, so Nigerians will know how to react.
Exactly.
Instead of blaming him, they will know that it's the fault of the federal government. But if he doesn't come out to say it and is just bearing it, Nigerians will not know and will blame him, because we don't expect the price to be more than 500 naira.
All right. Okay, still on the oil sector, the NNPC Limited revenue has hit about 6 trillion naira profit, and with surges up to 1.5 trillion naira just in the month of May. Now we ask, there is a cheering news, but the question is, what are they doing this profit that is being made? You know, there was a time I asked, with the subsidy removed, the money that was meant for subsidy, that we're saying, what are all this money meant for? Now with this NNPC report saying that just in the month of May, a profit of 1.05 trillion naira was made just in the month of May.
You see, NNPC has been seen as one of the most corrupt institution in this country, where there is no accountability, and Nigerians have been calling for a review of that establishment and to see how NNPC can be accountable to Nigerians. And if you look at it, because we are not excited, profit, what is the effect of that profit on the average Nigerian?
Exactly.
NNPC cannot tell us the direct impact of that profit. You just say it on paper, Nigerians don't feel it, Nigerians don't see it, so it doesn't make any sense to Nigerians. They are just dishing out statistics to excite their principals or the Mr. President, but not Nigerians. Because if you are making a profit, how come Nigerians are not feeling it? In terms of, even let's say, one of the most used products, petroleum product, is the petroleum. Yes. Now, if fuel is not reduced, how do you want Nigerians to feel the impact of your profit? NNPC should encourage Dangote refinery. NNPC should see how they can reduce the price of fuel, diesel, kerosene, before Nigerians will appreciate this their profit they are saying. Yeah. If the profit ends up in private pocket, it doesn't make any point. And that is why we are still saying that the rot in NNPC should be looked at. The other day I was watching, I saw how people have been protesting for days for one of the agencies under the NNPC, yes, but now to be removed or to be invited by the EFCC to question. Yes. Now, these are the issues. So why is it that sometimes the NNPC, they invite them, the House of Rep committee will invite them, they cannot give account of our crude oil, how many barrels is being taken a day, how much is being sold a day, no statistics. They just come up with make profit. Okay, that profit, where is it being channeled to? Because NNPC, when you ask them where is the money, they will claim to they have used it for this, they have used it for that. Okay, what is the federal government getting out of that? How do you impact the Nigerian citizenry? Nothing. So the figure does not excite us. It will only excite those that the money will end up in their pockets. And that is why we want to advise and plead with the federal government to ensure that that NNPC, they do whatever it is to ensure that it is accountable to Nigeria. It's one of the agencies that should have direct impact on Nigerians. Indeed, it is. All right, now let's go to the big story, which is, of course, the coalition matter. As a PDP steward, I'm glad that you're here with me this morning to discuss this, because I feel that you're like in the caucus. You should be able to tell us what's happening. Now we have Atiku galvanizing the big wigs in the PDP to join a coalition, I think the ADC party, so that they could work together into ensuring that Tinubu does not return in 2027. Well, before you respond to that question, it is also said that the PDP right now is in the state of comatose, that with the state it is right now, they can ensure that they can vividly fight the administration, the incumbent administration. In addition to that, we've also seen quite a lot of defection in different states, and some of the PDP are pointing hands at the APC, saying that these people that are defected are being coerced into defecting. And sometimes I think I think they also use the word blackmail or something. But since you're here, let's hear from you this morning.
What do you think about this coalition? Do you think is a go? Do you think, okay, it's going to happen? There's going to be a meeting later today. I don't know if you'll be attending that.
Well, let me start by saying that PDP is not in any comatose. PDP, just like every other political party, is facing, its fair share of challenges, and we have overcome the major one on Monday. So we are making progress as compared to other political parties. Even the crisis in the ruling party is worse than what we have. But we are making the news because we are the only genuine political party that Nigerians believe in. Having said that, talking about the coalition, if you look at the coalition, it's not to unseat the president. It's a coalition for someone's ambition. And if truly the coalition is to unseat the APC government, I believe those, most especially of PDP extraction, that are part of the coalition or that are trying to be part of the coalition, would have, see how to strengthen their party and convince the party leadership to see reasons with their position if there is need for a coalition. But going to form, together that they want to join coalition, I believe they are doing it for themselves, for their selfish interest, not in the interest of Nigeria. Because if Atiku was the coalition leader, the one with that of PDP extraction, is genuine, he wouldn't think of contesting. As of today, he still has interest in contesting as president. And believe you me, the presidency should go to the south for the next 4 years, from 2027 to 2031. And nobody will accept an Atiku as a coalition candidate. I can assure you that if an article emerge, the coalition is as good as collapsed, and there will be no, you will not get, in fact, the vote will get worse than the one they got in 2023. Wow. I can say that because these are people that are just coming to the purpose of taking power. They are not coming to ensure that if they really want to remove the ruling party, PDP is the only party platform. PDP is the only party that you can hear and see in every nooks and crannies of this country. It's a household name. So why do you not leave that family and you want to go? And so when I saw some of the leaders of PDP trying to form such thing, I laughed, because trust me, it will stand. It will only be enough noise on the media, but on ground it will stand. It is only PDP that will go, and the party has come up to say, see, we are as a party. The national chairman has said it, the national secretary was the first to say it, the PDP Governors Forum has consolidated on it, that we are not going into coalition with any group or political party, but rather we'll go for collaboration with other political parties. Okay. And if there is need, they can join us. But we have a stronger platform. Today, everywhere you go is PDP. Nigerians are pleading for us to, put our house in order, which we have done on Monday. Today, our house, we have a united house, and we are working towards strengthening it to ensure that we give Nigerians the expected opposition and transiting into a ruling party. So, the coalition, if you look at it, most of them are, moreover, when you talk about the other side, that is the Erufai and they are frustrated. The only product they have there is Obi. Outside Obi, they are frustrated. Erufai is not a marketable product. He's a frustrated person. So he cannot come up and, because they were the one that put us in the mess. So what are you going to tell Nigerians? He came up and screamed all over your voice and over the roof and said this is the best thing that will happen to us as Nigerians if we give this party this opportunity. We've given them the opportunity and see where we are. And you expect Nigerians to trust you. Nigerians will not trust any of them. That is the simple truth. So the coalition is just to make themselves relevant and see if they can negotiate to show that yes, they are relevant. Otherwise, if they truly want to unseat this president and this party called APC, the only platform they have is the PDP. Is to join the PDP. And for those of them that are in PDP, is to see how to talk to the leadership that come, let's invite other political parties. We will not change the name, but let's talk with them and see how we can collaborate with them. We are a big name. So that is it. But going to meet and it end at that meeting, grassroots doesn't know that. What grassroots knows is PDP and APC. Finish.
Okay, all right, interesting one. I believe that by the end of today we will know if they reached some sort of agreement on the coalition, because even already they've adopted some party interim chairman, Mark. We also have the secretary, a spokesperson, and all the other stuff. So Atiku is really busy, I would say. He's really busy.
No, he has always been busy.
Exactly.
He has been busy failing. He has been busy failing. So
yeah,
maybe he's also busy preparing to fail. That is the truth. The only person I feel a bit worried and saddened about is His Excellency David Mark. Is a person that I have utmost respect for and love. But when he made that statement then that he's the last man standing, my respect and love for him increased. But seeing him with Atiku and co in the coalition, PDP group that wants to join coalition, I felt very disappointed. And if I were to be very close to him, I wouldn't have advised him. For whatever reason, you have made this statement, and today you should see how to, behind the camera, talk to the leadership and advise them consistently and see how they can make things happen rather than going to form this thing. I can assure you that it will not fly. Okay.
All right. Indeed, David Mark has actually been under the shadows. We've not really heard anything from him for a while now, until recently. Okay, the phone lines, it will be displayed if it's not already displayed on the screen for you to call and be part of the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. So when you call, please turn down the volume of your TV set, or better still, walk away. You tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and go ahead and, of course, be part of the conversation by telling us your opinion. You could touch on any paper headlines of your choice. Let's take this first caller here. Mohammed from Maiduguri, good morning to you.
Good morning and good morning to you again.
You're welcome.
Yes, you people are on the very nice topic of the day. Honestly, you are trying. These are the type of conversation a good journalist will bring to carry everybody along in the country. Well done for bringing the topic.
Thank you.
Yeah, as you, my guy, is saying, this issue of coalition, I'm not a deep politician, so I don't want to talk too much about it. We are Nigerians who are watching. Wherever that the river is flowing, I think that is where the fishes used to follow. So the fisherman usually stop with his net on the direction of the flow of the river. That is a simple language. Nigerians cannot be fooled by any sweet mouth of any kind anymore, because everybody is feeling the bite everywhere. I'm sure of that. That is that. But let them be careful about whatever they are doing. First, the Nigerian interest. The peace, stability, harmony of Nigeria should always be our watchdog. These political activities are something that is just secondary. It's not primary. Nation must be built with unity, harmony, and peaceful coexistence before any other things will come follow. This should be our watchword. That is what I want to advise these politicians, because the greediness of power, struggle for power, and whatever, all comes when you are living peacefully and in harmony. We should be careful, watch what is happening in all the African countries and around the world. Then we should put it into our shoe. We must maintain that peace and unity of Nigeria so that we can be able to dispose within. That is one. Two, the other issue you talk about, this NNPC something. Yes, there are so many monopoly, many issues is happening in NNPC. All of us we are aware of that. But proof the matter is that if Dangote is using crude oil in Naira, then Dangote must come down and subsidize or reduce something to affect this low price to accommodate Nigerians. That is one thing. But if he is not giving this thing in Naira, it's only on paper he was instructed to be given, and it's not practically is given, then the Dangote has nothing to hide. Let him come out and be telling Nigeria that, look, they say they give me Naira, they don't give me Naira. You know, because we rise up. After we are the voters, we are the people that vote for the government. This is democracy. We have right to even protest. We are not calling for protest anyway. So that is one. So this is it. There are so many issues in Nigeria today that is being hidden simply because of the person that is speaking is from my language, is from my this. This is rubbish. We are all Nigerians. We are all brothers and sisters. We must love ourselves, love our country, live peacefully in our country, so that we will not be running to anywhere in the name of refugees or IDPs. That is one thing. So palliative, this, that were given to workers. Up to this moment, I'm telling you, up to this federal secretariat, you will hear so many departments that this palliative has not been given to them. Federal government said it. The president announced it. Somebody within the Ministry of Finance will sit down on it and cancel the other this thing and divert this thing into his pocket, call the Peru defense operator, change it to him for dollars, and that is the end of it. This is happening in Nigeria, and nobody is taking it. Every month we hear federal education is being given to governors and whatever. They will divide it. You know, who is following down to the ladder to monitor if this thing is actually given? What do they do with the money? This difficulty Nigeria is facing today is not man-made, it's not from God, I'm sorry to say, it's man-made. It's man-made, people are doing it, and punitive. Nobody is taking the law and judiciary that is going to punish them, and so on. So these are the compounding problems that is given for people to, I want to this party, I want to this, all in the name of, okay, let me buy sympathy, let me buy cheap popularity, and so on and so on. We don't even need all these too much of political parties. If it is only two-party system we are practicing in Nigeria, it's enough.
Right.
If this one is not doing well, we'll go to the other one. Just like America, Democrat and Republican. Are they not affect the country? So, in conclusion, I want to advise all of us. First, we must first of all be a Nigerian. That is one thing I always advocate. Two, whether you are Muslim or you are Christian, we are all created by one God. We must believe in that. We must love ourselves as one people. This is one thing I always insist. Secondly, we should be watchful of enemy of Nigeria. This is one thing that we are lacking. Our pastors, our imams, most of them are ignorant of this. Somebody will come in between two of you now and cause confusion. Then you start apportioning blame. While the person that caused
Hi, Mohammed. So we can take other calls. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
All right. Have a lovely day, Mohammed. All right. We're still taking calls. Please, when you call, we'd like you to be brief with your contribution, all right, so we can entertain more calls on the show. Hello. Do good from Port Harcourt. How are you today? Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you for joining.
Yes, the topic is very good. I can see it. It's only the women of Nigeria they had against all those maneuverings against Nigeria, all against Nigeria, because they're all looking for their own pockets. But I'm going to say to Dangote, I hope it allows people to address the issue. Dangote issue is the more you look, the less you see. Because the salary is in our land here. The good one is here in our land here. And they use it to punish Nigerians. The answer in it. And then I told you now, if Dangote, why did it cost money for this block? Dangote, all the whole big rocks and thieves to go to Nigeria, all the money for Nigeria, Dangote account to make this happen. Because what I have said here, that's why the president has to do this or do that on my side. You all of them get shares in Dangote. So Dangote is something as a lottery. If EFCC can be spread off, Dangote should be a case for Muslim mandate, because if we go in there, if you go up there well, you will see, you see what I mean. If it's a hell, there's a question in Nigeria. What this is around? Yes. Dangote should people should advise Dangote well. But what he's doing, we have to be against him. I'm telling you. Thank you, God bless all of you.
Thank you too, do good from Port Harcourt. We appreciate you. I'm still taking your calls this morning, Wednesday, the 2nd of July, 2025. Let's take another caller. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning to you. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Okay. Okay, he actually hung up. All right, so please, when you do call, like I said, turn off your radio set, TV set, or walk away from it completely, so we can hear ourselves and have a better conversation. Okay, now I wanted to ask you, as a PDP stalwart, from where we're coming from, we've heard the years where the PDP were in power. Although people will say, oh, it's more favorable than it is now. But Nigerians equally have blames on PDP. So do you think Nigerians trust the PDP as a party to come back to power, even though certain situations have made Nigerians compare PDP and APC? Oh, we'll say things like, oh, during the PDP it wasn't this bad. Yeah, it was bad, but definitely not this bad. And then it's as if for each administration that comes, we wish it was the previous one. Like, so it was like, it's a case of each administration, it gets worse. Situations get worse. Cost of living gets higher. So it's really frustrating. Most Nigerians just want better governance. You know, someone who has the heart of Nigerians at heart, someone who will come and be a president of the people, someone who will look at the yearnings of Nigerians and make sure that those yearnings are met. These are what Nigerians are asking for.
Yes, I want to say that PDP have Nigerians at heart, and Nigerians have experienced, another regime, government, and that's why they can say we want PDP. Not just any individual, but the party has given succor to Nigerians for 16 years, and they deceived them, brought APC. Today, Nigerians are crying and pleading and begging with PDP to come back. You see, PDP manages country's economic very well. There is no dispute to that fact. Looking at the statistics, and even not just the statistics, the practicals on ground, how it impacts Nigerians, their lives. You see them saying it. And also because the worst thing is to take off subsidy from petroleum product and power. Is the worst thing, because even America subsidizes most of this, even up to education. Yeah. So why do you take it off?
Some food items.
Food items. So why do you take it off? That is the only thing that the citizen directly benefit from. If there is any rot, why not go after those that are causing that rot in that system? And why do you want to throw the baby with the bathwater? No, because Nigerians are going through hell. Removing the subsidy, you are just taking the money from the Nigerians and giving it to a few to benefit, because you said we should hold the governors, now they have a higher allocation. That is not what we want. Let us have that direct impact. Let's feel the government.
Exactly, because it's not translated to the common people.
At all. So what we want is the removal of subsidy is wrong. What should have been done is to find out what is it that is wrong with this subsidy. Send people to go and study what is happening in other countries. How do they manage it without any cabal causing excessive padding of the budget and what have you, but rather you remove it. Today Nigerians are suffering. Families cannot even be able to take one square meal. So it doesn't make any point giving the monies to the governors, saying that the governors are, before they are not doing it. Now what have you seen them doing? It's still going to private pocket most of the times. So Nigerians are calling on the government that this subsidy, you are even removing subsidy without any palliative, practical palliative, something that at least will alleviate, address the pains that Nigerians are going today. Because if there is subsidy, Nigerians wouldn't have been going through these pains, and that is what PDP were able to manage. Despite the criticism, PDP was able to manage the Nigerian economy to make it the best, one of the fastest growing economy in the world, to the point that Nigerians became the happiest people in the world under PDP regime. So you will see that APC have poor economists managing the economy. We have the best economics managing the economy under PDP, and that's why you see that today Nigerians are saying, please PDP come back. We have seen they deceive us, and that's why I would also say that, see, the coalition will not work except they come to PDP and said want to join PDP or want to collaborate with PDP. But coalition. They did it in 2014, and this is the result, suffering. And Nigerians will not be, you heard one of the callers say, we cannot be deceived again. We cannot be sweet-talked to another coalition that may lead us to maybe our grave. So that is the truth about it.
All right, let's go back to some calls now. Hello? Hello, you there?
Hello, I am calling from Malam Place. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. You're calling from where?
I'm calling from Kogi State.
Kogi, okay, and your name is?
I am President Jima.
Okay. Danjuma, you're welcome.
All right, I'm happy with your program this morning. Hello?
Go ahead, we can hear you.
Your topic this morning is great, and I appreciate the person who invited. What he's saying, all is true. Federal government have disappointed us. Hello?
We can hear you, Danjuma.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The issue of this removal of subsidy. If you remove subsidy, now NNPC, like you're saying, NNPC is about 1.something trillion for the use of them from their gain. What are they using that money for? They are supposed to add that money to the issue of Dangote. Instead of selling to Dangote in dollars, they need to sell to Dangote in naira. If Nigeria is to make use of naira, then let's scrap out naira. If Nigeria is to use dollars, let's scrap out naira. So, I want to say Dangote should be sold, the crude oil should be sold to him at the rate of naira the cost, not in dollars. It will help the poor Nigerians. So, and the issue of politics, it comes down to politics, the issue of politics.
Yeah.
Atiku has lost so many battles. Atiku should be one of them that caught Nigeria into this backwardness. So we should go and sit down. Rather, you should look for a younger person that he will support. Why is it jumping from poll to post? They let the PDP to enter APC from APC now to other parties. It should remain a PDP. It is qualified to rule this nation. It should remain. It should be stagnated in a particular party. And to become a father, not to become, people should follow him. He should use this money to look for a young people that he will support and not allow people to continue to follow him. So I think we should go and raise his issues and let people, let other younger ones come in so that they can rule and bring a good managerialism into this nation, Nigeria, our great nation.
All right. Thank you very much, Danjuma.
Hello?
We can hear you.
The person he invited, in fact, all he's saying, I've been listening to him, he is a good analyst of this nation. May God bless him.
All right. Thank you. All right, thank you, Danjuma from Kogi State there. All right, let's see. We have a give and take 5 more minutes on the clock before we wrap up the program today. Let's see if we could entertain one more call, and then I'll allow my guest to wrap up his thought. Hello. Hello, good morning, Maurice Eden from Calabar.
Thank you very much for your program.
You're welcome.
Have I heard the man with talking with you there, talking about the PDP and APC? People are now, people want people to come back to PDP. My observation is, nearly all the people, 60% of people in APC today, defected from PDP to we are not talking about political parties this time, because we are talking about people. People in politics today, if you trace their history from 1960s, 70s, they are the same people. They are the ones making us to suffer in this country. Nothing works. Ordinary flights, people cannot board. Ordinary Nigerians cannot board. How many of commissioners' children are in public university today? So we should not talk about PDP and APC. We are talking about the politicians defecting from one place and the other. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all. We should talk about political parties. A human being running those political parties, they are the ones killing this country. Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Mr. Morris. All right, he kind of took what I wanted to ask you from my, he kind of took it right out of my mouth, because I wanted to ask, is it about the party or the person? And then I wanted to also say that the truth is, the political parties we have, the APC, the PDP, you see is the same crop of leaders. It's more like they defect when this situation is favorable for in this place, they move to this house. If it's no longer favorable, they move to the other house. So we're kind of having the same circle of leaders in different party. So the question, is it really about the party or the person? And then coming to your response when you responded that Atiku shouldn't be the man. Even if the coalition doesn't hold, I know Atiku still have interest to run for presidency. So on your own thought personally, who do you think would stand a chance in the 2027 election under the platform of the PDP?
Under the platform of the PDP will be a Southern candidate.
Is there a person in mind?
Yes, and a Southern candidate, if you said you want to project a Southern candidate, first that will be very marketable to Nigerians, and most especially our brothers in the north, is the former president Jonathan. And secondly is Peter B, if you will consider coming back to PDP, and with his recent statement of one term, it will be catchy for northern voters. So that was a smart move on his part. But having said that, you talked about individual and person. Now the thing I want to say is that it's very right that we should also pay attention to individuals. Yes. But also, you know, our constitution and our electoral guideline provides for political parties.
Yes.
So there is no way, there is no independent candidate. So you like it or not, you must, you know, align with a political party. And the best political party to do that with is the PDP. And yes, PDP is an institution that has graduated. It's like a university. A lot of, you see PDP members in Labour Party, in APC, in various parties, an institution. PDP as political institution as we speak today. So we have graduates in different political parties. So that's why I said PDP is the best platform for any coalition. They should just come, collaborate with PDP and say, okay, we are going to support the candidate PDP will bring. They can even be members and participate in the process of the emergence of the candidate. But coming to say that you want to form a coalition, Nigerians, you've heard all the callers, what they said, they cannot be deceived any longer. But they, no matter what, they still have that confidence. There's an iota of confidence, love for PDP. And that is why it is the only platform. Yes, he said, some people, you see, PDP have a mechanism with which it monitors its leaders in government. And that's why we're able to perform. Caucus in our PDP constitution is to invite government in power, PDP government, to discuss policies and program, to check it to see if it is in tandem with the party manifesto, to say if maybe the governor or the president is derailing from that, to draw his attention. This is our manifesto, this is what we told Nigerians. And that is what the function of the caucus in our constitution. That's why you saw that in our 60 years in power, we were able to perform very well. So I would advise and plead with Nigerians to look up to, and even those leaders that are looking at coalition, it will not go, it will not fly. Nigerians cannot be deceived the second time. It's for them to come, join the party or other parties to collaborate with PDP, and we can unseat the ADC, because anybody that is thinking of coalition now is trying to divide the vote and indirectly working for the APC, the ruling government. That is the simple truth. Because if PDP is already strong. PDP is an household name. Old women in my village, if you just tell them, you just mention the party, even you are taking it, they will be telling you just what is the name of the PDP. So PDP, you are punching the PDP. So you see that is the name. Everybody should just run along if you truly want this APC government to go, and if you want to really work for Nigerians and ensure that these sufferings that APC is putting Nigerians into is terminated. just join the PDP or collaborate with the PDP and ensure that we work together to unseat this government. But when you say coalition, then you are working for the party.
Thank you so much, Comrade Dabio Kiabo Wamate, who is the PDP steward and, of course, the apex leader concerned PDP League. Thank you so much for availing yourself today to join us on the show. I really do appreciate your presence.
Thank you for the privilege.
Yes, and you that called, we say thank you to you. Thank you to Mohammed Dugu Danjuma Morris. Thank you for also being part of the conversation we had. And for those of you still calling, I apologize. We're totally out of time. We can't take further calls. For me, I would say it's a wrap on the program, The Press, today. Remember, it's going to be back tomorrow, Thursday, and of course Friday for fresh headline topics. I am Princess Ekize Okoli, and like I will say all the time, the change we need is all in our hands. We all have to begin changes from our household all the way to outside that becomes manifest to our nation, Nigeria. As the politicians are preparing, make sure you're also preparing your heart on who you're going to cast your vote to. Good morning, and do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.